Hey, what is going on, everybody? We are back here for another one of our 15 days of sourcing. So basically, what I've been doing for almost the past 2 weeks is coming on every single day. I wanted to kind of challenge myself, come on every single day and source for you guys, show you a different way, a different method, maybe a different tool, a different style. I'm trying to cover a wide gamut of things, and all of this is leading up to our sourcing camp, which is starting in about 8 days now. Okay, the tickets are on sale now. Doors are open. You can sign up, and there's a ton of content in there already. We're already talking about bolos and sales and sharing leads. A ton of really cool stuff. So if you're interested in that, there is a QR code right here above my head that you can scan, or if you ask in chat, if you need a link to click on, you can ask in chat, and I will share a link. Hey, what's up, Daniel? So yeah, what was it? Yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, I was doing some Amazon to Amazon flipping, and I asked people, hey, like, what kind of A to A flipping do you want to see? Like, do you want to see it with minimal tools, or do you want to see it with some kind of cool tools that can speed up the process? And last time we went with minimal tools. I did Amazon to Amazon flipping just straight with the Keep a Deals page, which is really cool. If you missed that, go back and watch that video. It's on our Facebook page in the media section, also on our YouTube. If you look at like the live section, you can see the recordings from our live sessions. This time, I wanted to use some Amazon to Amazon flipping tools. And I reached out to a friend of ours who actually made a tool that is specifically for Amazon to Amazon flipping. He does a ludicrous amount of Amazon to Amazon flipping. And I thought, well, like, I could show you this myself, or I could literally bring in the guy who made it and he can do some sourcing with us. So I'm having a little bit of a cheat day today in that I'm getting some help doing some sourcing for you guys. But we are bringing in Saul. Let's see if we've got his camera working here. There we go. Saul, what's up, man?
Doing well, hi Nate.
All right. Saul, could you give us sort of like a brief rundown? Why, like, who are you? Why should people care what you have to say about doing Amazon to Amazon flipping?
Hopefully they care a little bit. I mean, if they don't, that's okay too. But I'm Saul. I've been a seller for 8 years, and I kind of latched onto A2A early. So I've been doing A2A for 6 years of those eight. And kind of just I didn't catch that live, but essentially what you did on Keepa is what I did for years. Like that was the way to do A2A, and most people did it that way. And A2A has quickly become about 70% of my business over the years. We spent well over $1 million just on A2A. We spend between 40 and $60,000 a month, off months, and then Q4 obviously goes up a little bit. And in like 2021, I was getting a little tired of just constantly refreshing Keepa deals, and we just wanted a better way to source. So we built a tool for our business. We helped out some people in our community, and that turned into 3 years later Flip Alert, which is kind of what we're going to talk about today, which is essentially a tool that I wanted back then that we have now, and it just makes it so much easier to ideally just kind of unclutter all of the products that you see in A2A world. It's also opened up some like eye-opening stats for us too. In the last month, there's been 800,000 profitable Amazon drops um, for A2A, which is an astounding number. I didn't even think it was that big, and that's just products with ranks. So we don't
That's
even include the
wild.
unranked products.
Yeah,
And those are just the profitable ones. That's profitable today. So if you count in the holds and the debundles, I mean, it's got to be over 1 million, and that's just in the U.S.
yeah,
market.
that's wild.
So
Like
it's
when people ask, it's like, oh,
insane.
like, isn't Amazon to Amazon flipping like, won't it ever get like saturated or anything? And there's just the market for it is insane. Just
I
yeah,
mean, you're shopping at the biggest retailer in the world,
it's crazy.
or in the Western world.
And
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 how
most of
could
the
it?
sales, like there's such little small blips. Like if I'm watching it right now and you're not, and then I log off and 30 minutes later you're watching it, like we're going to see completely different products, and there's not going to be a whole lot of overlap. It's so
Yeah,
fast paced.
and you don't have unlimited money, right? Like
Yeah.
you just might spend all you can in the first week, and then I get to swoop in. And there's obviously also, I think I wrote a whole tweet about this recently. I think there's a bit of a misconception on A2A as well, where like when people think A2A, they always think speed. There's
Mm.
always like, if I'm not on 24/7, if I don't catch a deal within 5 seconds, I can't do A2A because I work a job or do other things. And the reality is, and I tweeted like a whole example, like a lot of what I buy nowadays is actually stuff that sits. Like I can come pick it up at 5, and we'll look at that today actually. You can go pick it up 5 or 6 hours later and it's still in stock. And sometimes those are the best because everyone gets afraid. Like if it stays in
Yeah.
stock too long, people are like, this isn't can't be good. But there's so many ways to validate that outside of just it being a blip.
I love that. Saul actually, so he said a tiny golden nugget that I that you guys might not have picked up, but I am going to share it because it's it's my golden nugget, but it's about Saul. So every morning when I start doing Amazon stuff, I'll usually spend like 10 or 15 minutes kind of browsing about 5 different locations on the internet to sort of get some Amazon information for the day, whether it's tips, whether it's what's happening, whether it's sales, whatever. Of those 5 places, Saul's Twitter feed is one of that very tiny short list. Like seriously,
Oh,
I look at it
I
all the
appreciate
time.
that.
It is a phenomenal Twitter feed if you're interested in Amazon content. I think there's a lot of junk out there. There's a lot of fluff out there, and Saul is neither of those. So add this to sort of like your daily or weekly, like just glance at it. So I think it's that at Saul Sell Stuff over on Twitter.
Yeah.
Phenomenal place.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that's a big accolade.
Yeah, no,
And
I'm
I'm
not like
trying. I gotta follow in your footsteps. I'm a word guy. I gotta get better in the camera. Like I'm gonna my goal is YouTube or at least I don't know, something where I can just be on camera a bit more.
yeah, for sure. We'll just have to
Because
do
texting is
more
fun,
invites.
but
We'll bring you in.
perfect.
All right. So yeah, Saul, do you want to show us a little bit? So we're going to be using something called Flip Alert, guys. I'll post a link here in the chat. This is not at all required to do A to A, but as Saul was saying, like it's a cool tool. He's done a lot of A to A, and this for him was speeding up his process. So that's why he made this, and we're sharing it here.
Yeah.
Really cool tool
I
if you want to check it
don't
out.
I'm gonna be an old person for a second. I don't see a way to share my screen unless I'm missing
Oh,
something.
it's right down between our faces. It should be like the second or third button in. It should say share screen. Like, no?
No, I got mute, disable camera, and settings. Those are only 3 buttons there.
Ooh.
So I
Here.
mean,
How about I share my
you could
screen?
always share your screen. Yeah, as I was saying, like you could
Yeah, I
do it.
don't know how to fix that on the fly. Let me. All right, hold up a second. Let me exit out of a couple things. And yeah, as we're getting this set up, guys, feel free to drop some questions in the chat. As I'm getting this set up, I saw a couple questions already. Flip
Yeah, and I'm
alert.
happy to. I can see them here. I'm happy to answer them as you go. So, I mean, Daniel asked, "What's the primary cause for being able to buy products from Amazon to flip back on Amazon? What causes the low prices, sales, price errors, etc." That's a great question. There's a number of reasons. The specific model that you're kind of referring to here is right. Generally, price drops of some kind. So, say Amazon's normally $100, and then all of a sudden they're at $50, and we're going to arbitrage the difference. Funny enough, most of the reason is because Amazon's price matching another retailer, um, which is a huge value for us as A2A buyers. Because if you see something at 100 and now it's 50, not only can you potentially buy on Amazon, but you should always Google, and we actually build that into Flipboard, and you'll see in a second. You should always Google the product and ideally try to track down the source because Amazon's price matching power is insane, and they're matching products in stores you've probably never heard of. So it's a great way to find new sources. It's also a great way to find new sales. So like if some random ski shop is selling a helmet on sale and Amazon price matches it, and you find it because of Google, now you not only have a new website, but you also have potentially a whole new sale that's happening right now, and that's entirely eliminated my OA manual sourcing. Essentially, all my OA that I do is purely just reverse sourcing A2A buys. You do often, you will occasionally see Amazon drop price, particularly because they just don't have enough inventory. Like they have too much inventory, I should say. And we've actually talked to a warehouse manager, and they were like, yeah, sometimes instead of moving it from one warehouse to another, we'll just try to sell it out of one. Um, and then there are some slippery slopes too. Sometimes they'll drop price because a new version's coming out. Like you have a camera and all of a sudden version 3 of the webcam is coming out and version 2 is kind of obsolete and they're going to drop the price. It's a little scary because that's kind of the new retail price. You don't know it, but that's the new price. And that's why also Googling is helpful because if you Google a product and you see every other retailer at that now new low price, well, it's a good chance that they just all got a memo at the same time. Um, and so, hey, like this is not something that you should probably buy. And the list goes on, but there's a bunch of reasons. Um, can you offer us a longer trial, 7 days? I can sort of look. I do want to be upfront about Flip Alert. There is a member cap. So because of the content and the type of A2A, I don't, we talked earlier, I don't think A2A has a high or a low saturation level. I don't think, oh, 1,000 people are doing A2A. I mean, transparently for you guys, I've taught thousands of people over the years A2A, and it has not changed my business model one iota. I've never felt the pinch. But for Flip Alert, we did cap it at 500 users. Um, and so for that reason, for right now, I jump in. It'd be hard for me to generate a link on the spot. So jump into the 2 day. We can always chat within the Discord. I do feel pretty confident you'll find it's one of those softwares that you'll immediately be able to see value.
Yeah, we've
So
shown a couple softwares like that where it's
yeah,
literally like you plug it in, you press play, within 5 or 10 minutes you should be finding your first flip.
yeah,
Um,
and we'll see it when Nate shows. But one of
yeah,
the features in Flipler is you get access to our database, which is every flip we've ever got ever since the software went live, and so that's over 3 million flips that you get to filter through. And so even if you're not, even if you join at 10 p.m. and you're like, there's not a lot of deals right now, you can go back and look at all the deals that were profitable within your specific range of filters, um, previously that day or even last week. You can monitor them. You can do a bunch of stuff.
yeah, it's pretty fantastic. All right, so Saul, I'll be the hands. You guide me. Where do I go? Like if someone is sort of brand new, how could they sort of set
Sure.
this up in a simple way to find something quickly right at the start?
Yeah. So there's the first thing you 100% want to do is head to price drops. And this is where we're going to, and I don't know if you have any tasks set up.
I
So
do. I can
once
I'll turn them
you,
off.
oh no, I mean, you can,
Oh, all right.
it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately, just so everyone's aware, when you first log into Flip Alert, under price drops is ultimately where you're going to see, well, price drops is where you're going to see all your profitable products that you're going to get to buy. But we don't show you any of them right away. We want you to curate your list because if we showed everyone the same thing, you would get 800,000 products and there'd be a bunch of crap that you can't sell or don't want to sell. And so, as Nate's showing here, you get the chance to create tasks, and tasks are just you're telling the system the type of product that you want to see. So he's saying, hey, he wants to see products that are sold by Amazon, so not third party sellers. He wants to see minimum $5 profit and at least 35% ROI. And then he can go through and he can choose his categories. He doesn't want to see clothing or he wants to, whatever. You can kind of choose all of that. Minimum sales, I kind of avoid. We have it in there, but it's up to you. That's just how many drops on Keepa. It's a weird metric. BSR though is of course like maximum sales rank. Reviews are super interesting because if you do one review, you guarantee that the product is sold at least sometimes. So it's of course up to you. And then minimum seller count's also interesting, especially if you're doing FBA. If you're looking at third party sellers
That's
and
true.
you do two or more, it eliminates private label for the most part. And that was a huge problem I had with Keepa because,
Yes.
and I'm sure you guys do it too. Like it's just like, oh, all of a sudden you see 1,000 curtains,
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't care about these. These are not something I can sell. And so this helps you kind of get rid of that.
Hmm.
And then you can take this one step further even. And keywords is a negative keyword. So let's say you set this up and you start seeing products like Amazon Basics. We're like, well, we don't want to see Amazon Basics. So you can click that and click the Enter key on your keyboard. And now anything that has the word basics in it is going to be removed from this filter. And you could do that, for any different types of products you want. Exactly. And so that really helps you, again, curate your specific list for products that you want to see. So if Nate goes back to um, kind of the main notification screen, now that he's running some of these. So we go back to, I'm sorry, go back to price drops.
Oops, sorry.
And then we give it a second to load. Since Nate had already had some tasks set up, ideally he has some things that are going to load in here in a second. Nate could also be on a bit of an older build, so I'm hoping that's not the case. Uh, because it
There
is
we go.
taking, oh, there it is. Okay. Got me worried there for a second. So this is ultimately what you would see as products start loading into Flipware, right? So we set up your tasks. Now tasks are not instant. Like when you put a task in the first time, we're not going to pull in old products. That's a separate module. We're going to show you anything new since you started the task, but since you already had tasks running, great. We can see all of them. He has a bunch of different types of products. He has Amazon products, his FBA products, his FBM products, because they fit his task. Our buy column is the current price that it was when we caught this. Our sell column is the average, so it's the 30-day new price, the lowest possible price average across the last 30 days. And then that's how we determine our profit. So if you go over to the profit thing, we do the calculations for you. Sell at 21, buy at 9.91. Here's how much you can profit. We do the ROI, etc. Sales rank, seller count, cool. We've added some other features for people that aren't just into Amazon. So we have the Walmart column. So
Yeah,
we
that's really
actually
cool.
try to match these.
I didn't see that yet.
Yeah,
That's a great
we
feature.
do our best to match these products to Walmart, and so we do a pretty darn good job. Now, obviously, not everything is going to match, but if you click on that, it'll take you directly to that Walmart link. And then a feature that you're experiencing right now, if you hover over the name of the product, we'll show you the Kiba graph, which is I
Yep.
think behind our head, so I'm
In
not
the
sure
middle
they
of my
can see it.
face. There we go.
But that was something because people were really annoyed. They had to leave Flip Alert in order to validate some of the buys.
Yeah.
And so now you can just very easily see them. If we scroll, we'll hopefully find something. We scroll down, we might find something that has a Google price as well.
Oh yeah. Let me check. There we go.
There it is. Yeah. So we're also going and matching these products in Google Shopping. And so we're
Doing some
trying
reverse
to,
sourcing.
yeah, trying to make that easier. So we're pulling in, if we can find them, we're pulling in up to 4 products. Um, and they will only be your price or cheaper. So we'll never show you something if it's on Amazon for $10. We're never going to show you Google Shopping a product for 50. That doesn't make any sense. If they're just white like you see right there, it just means we don't have hyperlinks. They're just like, hey, this is where you found them, but you can't click. If you go potentially some other ones, they'll be blue and you can actually click into them. So it's just going to depend on what we had available to us. And then within here, of course, you can continue to filter. We have the filter blocks up top, so you can filter this down even more. So he has a bunch of different things, but let's say he only wants to see at $5 profit or 70% ROI or whatever it is. We'll show you up to 150 products on this list. So it doesn't, depending, it could be the last 3 minutes or it could be the last 3 hours. Kind of depends how many products your tasks are finding, but we'll show you up to 150. And this is how most people kind of live within Flipler, right? They just kind of sit here, they leave us on the screen, etc.
Yep.
The next step is our monitor. So let's say Nate finds something in here that he loves, like he's like, oh, I really want that Sakani cohesion shoe that's up there on the top,
hmm
but he checks and it's out of stock. Like he missed it. He would have bought it at 21, but he couldn't. If you click the little plus button on the left hand side under Actions, we'll actually go and if it loads, um, we'll go and create a monitoring task. And it looks like Nate has a couple set up now. So what we do is kind of like keep it tracking. We'll monitor this product for restocks at your target price. So you can put an ASIN in, you can put your price in. We do a 20% buffer. So if it was 21 on the price drop, we're going to add 20% just in case the price changes slightly. And then he has to just set it and forget it. And he can add any products he wants into here by clicking the plus button on the right hand side. So even if it's not within here, if you have something else you want to monitor, you can do that. And what we'll do is when they restock, we'll show you in Flip Alert. But if you're also a Discord member, it's free to sign up for Discord. We'll DM you on Discord too. So you kind of like have instant access to those restocks.
Nice.
And I'm going to pause for a second. I'm just going to look. I do have the thing open. Are you okay if I read the questions out loud?
Yeah.
Is
You're
that cool?
good.
Uh, Pam says, I'm a 4-year reseller doing 6 figures in sales a year. That's awesome, Pam. I consider myself maybe an advanced beginner. I love that. A2A always seems so overwhelming as to where to start with all the tools and strategies and techniques out there at my current reselling level. Any thought on the best way to start A2A process so it's not as overwhelming and advanced when starting out? I think we can tag team this one a little bit. And there are a bunch of different ways to do A2A. The one we're looking at now is what we kind of consider like the reactive method of sourcing, right? So you're reacting to price drops in real time. Nate's internet must hate him.
Yeah. It's struggling.
And so we're reacting to price drops in real time, and so something drops in price, we're like, oh, we're going to go buy that. That's arguably the most like fun, quote unquote, and it's actually easiest because it's the same model and concept that you have if you're doing OA or RA. You understand a Rekeepa, you're finding products, you can arbitrage from where your buy cost, the pitch to sell cost, and it's as simple as that. Given the mass volume of price drops, this is a great way to start. There are more advanced ones, which is, going back and trying to find products to add to a monitoring system. There's debundling. There's, holding products for seasonal cycles, which isn't specific to A2A. And there's even like kind of some specific A2A related type of strategies when it comes to like, do you compete against Amazon? Do you buy products that dropped in price and were still, low for 3, 6, 10 hours? But if you're just trying to get into A2A, I think following the simple price drop method is a great way to like understand the value of of the model, and you'll quickly find some wins, and then you can implore some more advanced stuff later on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you guys can see it's my internet that's slow. It's not the tool. It's taking forever to load. Yeah, this one would have been good,
Um,
but it was out of stock. I
yeah, I
might
mean
start to get
that's
one.
you might have
So
to, yeah. I think you'll find that sometimes as people are potentially trying out the program, you'll certainly come across products where, oh, you were 30 seconds too late. And
mhm.
that's the reality of really, I mean, how many times, if you're a thrifter or if you go in to do RA, you don't know what you missed, but I guarantee you did miss some products you just didn't know about. At least now you know what you missed and you can monitor them, or you can rabbit trail and go look at maybe that brand has other products on sale, or you can again Google it and see, hey, are they matching someplace else? Because if Amazon's dropping in price that aggressively straight down, good chance, of course, that they are matching some other retailer somewhere. Um, how often are you holding products because Amazon just doesn't go out of stock? I only hold products if I am buying them with the intent to hold. I don't mind competing against Amazon, so about 60% of all my ASINs Amazon's on,
Same.
transparently. I think it actually gives me an advantage, gives me an edge. Hopefully, it gives you one too if you try it out, because Amazon will share the buy box. Do not believe everything you see in Keepa when it comes to the buy box statistics.
Mhm.
And while you would get more sales if Amazon wasn't on the listing, you don't get zero sales. And so as long as you play nice and match them and don't try to beat them because you can't win, I will happily compete with them on a listing.
Let's try this one out. This one, just at a glance, it kind of at a glance, it looked all right. And this kind of thing sells, even though, so it says like the 2024, 2025, this will continue to sell. You would be shocked at how well. This is the 2023 version, and I'm sure that the 2023 version is still selling. I don't know exactly who buys those things, but they do. So it's on sale right now for
I mean, it
991.
says 800 sales in the last month. I don't know if you believe
Yeah,
that, but
last month
that's
alone.
insane.
So yeah, if we just match that average 90-day price of just under $25, we sell it or we buy it for $9.91. We're making $7 profit, 72% ROI. So boom, there you go. There's a free lead for you guys. It's this at a glance planner 2024 2025. If you want to look at the ASIN, I'll paste that into chat for you guys. I like to try to find one or two things for you guys that you could actually flip like right now. Um, yeah, I love what Saul was saying. Like, a lot of people have this misconception where you're buying, uh, like from Amazon, and you're gonna wait until Amazon goes out of stock before you can sell it, and that's not how this is working or functional. 99% of the time, every once in a while, yes, but 99% of the time, that's not really how this is working. Um, yeah, I totally agree. I also compete against Amazon. All right, let me turn this off. I'm going to grab a couple of the whoa. Oh, I
I
didn't
don't
know
know
I
what's
could do
happening
that.
there.
Hang on, stop sharing. There we go. Okay, let me get a couple of these questions over from YouTube. We've gotten a lot of the Facebook questions. On YouTube, Mohammed says he wants to do A to A, but he is afraid of invoices. So
Mhm.
you want to tackle that, or do you want me to tackle that?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, very common question, and it's very understandable. Um, so Amazon, when you purchase, if you go to your order history, there's actually an invoice button. There's a little button, even on a personal account, certainly on a business account. They will accept those invoices. They will accept those invoices for IP complaints. They'll accept them for inauthenticity. You sold this new. Obviously, they accept them for ungating. Like, there's even, if you go to appeal now, they have a separate section specifically saying Amazon invoices. Like they have finally come around to agreeing with us that A2A is a viable method and model. I would say this is maybe hopefully not a totally unpopular opinion. I don't get chastised for it. A2A can be a lot safer than OA, particularly
I
RA,
100% agree. Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, I don't get any more concerned doing A2A than you should doing anything else.
I actually, Mohammed, so like I've sourced in every which way: retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, A to A. I've done it, all of it, and I've received IP complaints, inauthentic complaints, etc., from all of them. Of all of the methods, my Amazon direct invoices so far have a 100% success rate, which is higher than my legitimate wholesale success rate. Like I've sent Amazon legitimate wholesale invoices with my suppliers information from valid, like verified, these are good suppliers, not like hole in the wall places. And they've kicked it back to me and said, oh, this doesn't contain the information that we want. I have never once had a Amazon invoice kicked back to me. And if I did, I could probably resubmit it and get it through the second time.
There's a decent
Um,
lead that just popped up.
oh, you're good.
I mean, it
Um,
depends if you like shoes.
Wagner says, I've got a few questions. I just started A to A thanks to us guys. I did my first purchase the other day, and Amazon gave me a 1 month free of Prime, but I found out we shouldn't use Prime for A to A? Question mark.
Question mark correct. Yes. You answered your own question. You should not use Prime for A2A. They will try to get you to that free because they see you as a regular customer. They don't see you obviously as a flipper. So they're just trying to convert you over to their paid programs. It gets very annoying because you will forever see that if you're doing A2A on desktop. Upside, they don't do it on mobile. I
Oh,
source
that's interesting. I didn't
95%
know
from
that.
my phone. So you don't have to worry about misclicking it on your phone. But yeah, just totally ignore that. If you accidentally do click it, you got to cancel it and you just can't source on that account. Ideally, you shouldn't source on that account for the 30 days you have it.
Yeah, there's like a specific line item in the Amazon Prime terms of service that says you're not allowed to use Prime benefits for the purpose of resale. And that's
Yep.
not actually specific to like A to A flipping. It's any flipping. Like you're not
Yeah,
supposed to
for
buy it
eBay,
for eBay.
local, yeah, it doesn't matter.
How they confirm that or check that, I don't know. I'm not the Amazon gods, but
The
I wouldn't play with fire.
the biggest thing the easiest way to get caught and how most people get caught is because somehow as soon as you start buying with Prime, your invoices become null and void. You will never be able to send those invoices to Amazon because on your invoice it says Prime shipping.
Mm,
And you get screwed. So it's just not worth it. You get free shipping still if you pay over 25 bucks. You just get the product a little bit slower.
yep. Mohammed asks, do you always have to buy from Amazon, or can you choose other FBA and FBM sellers?
I personally purchase from. I'm gonna say the word anybody, but it's not anybody. I purchase from any method, FBA, FBM, and Amazon. But you have to have a criteria to validate the seller. You're not gonna go purchase from Joe's corner store with 2 reviews and they're at 40%. Right? Like ideally, you're doing your due diligence because as soon as you take ownership of that product and send it back in, you are then the seller of record. It doesn't matter that you bought it from Joe. If that product's fake, you're the one on the line. And so, validate the seller, validate the product when it comes in. I will say most of the time you're buying third party, it's going to be from big sellers. So you're going to be buying from Amazon adjacent 6 p.m., Zappos, etc. And then you'll
Yeah.
also be buying some major wholesalers. What's most interesting, I stay away from FBM a lot, except you'll have the occasional like small retail chains or small
Mm,
and mom and pop retailers that do FBM. And what's nice about those is they'll ship, but then also you can again go track down their actual store if they have an online presence, and you can get some really cool deals um, from them. So don't discount third party, and we've actually beat claims of third party receipts, but don't just go
same.
nilly willy and buy everything from third party. Like
Hmm.
use your brain a little bit and kind of come up with your own system to
Yeah.
validate it.
Yeah, for me, it's less about because it's the same exact thing. Like I purchased from everybody. I don't like the vast majority of people who are actually doing Amazon to Amazon flipping. I feel like are purchasing from all three of those. From my experience, the people that I know,
Yeah, well, I think
maybe the experience is different.
select crowd. I think we attract what we are, right?
That's
I
it.
mean,
That's
I put a poll on Twitter a couple of times, and like 70% were only touching Amazon. A lot of people are still really
Interesting. Okay.
nervous about third party.
Okay. Um, so yeah, I buy from all three. I get IP complaints, I get inauthentic complaints from all of those locations. I've successfully beat it multiple times with all of those things. So for me, it's less worrying about like, oh, is this third party receipt going to work, and more about, is this thing that I am receiving actually what I want to be receiving, and am I going to receive it? So like if you buy from like a random like Chinese drop shipper where again like you see it's like the name is like a Chinese name or Eastern European name, something like that, they've got like a 30% review rating, like you're probably not going to receive the item that you are trying to order here. They're probably going to ship you an empty box. So yeah, I
Yeah.
avoid things like that. But yeah, same exact thing. Like if it's an established seller, if it's for me, I usually look like above like 80%, 85% reviews and more than like 50 to 100 reviews, like they've been around for a little bit, then I'm good with it. Eric said, "How much is the tool?" I think it's like 80, right?
A little bit more than that. It's 97.
Okay, 97.
Yeah, or
All right.
you can get it yearly. But yeah, 97 a month, $3 a day. We honestly priced it so you can make your money back in a day. That was the goal.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I think if you get the annual, it's like
Yeah, it
it's
comes out
like
to like 80-ish.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Wagner says he literally bought that yesterday. That's funny. Yeah, I like that listing. How accurate is Google matching? I lose a lot of time by verifying if model numbers are the same, design, etc.
I mean, it's as accurate as Google is, right? So it's not 100%. We're literally pulling the data straight from the Google Shopping API. So you're not going to have an exact match. Sometimes you'll see products that show up that are like similar but not quite. Um, but it's 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 often enough correct where we kept like it kept it in. Like if it was always wrong, I wouldn't have pushed it live. So it's right enough where it's valuable. But of course, like you do have to explore it. I will say the interesting thing, even if the product's wrong, we do show you the retailer. So it's still like
Mm,
an interesting way
mm.
to find new retailers that I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
never heard of.
yeah, yeah. Mohammed asks, okay, if all three are okay, how do you choose which seller that you should purchase it from? So you don't have to. It's like who has the deal. It's usually, for the most part, it's not going to be Amazon and an FBA seller and an FBM seller all selling a product for dirt cheap where you can flip it for more. It's usually one of those three places that's selling it for dirt cheap. So you buy it from the one that's got the deal that they're running.
Yeah.
Oh, Wagner, do you do E to A? No, absolutely hard
Yeah.
pass. eBay to Amazon. I can't believe that people sell courses on this. It's so easy to lose your account doing eBay to Amazon. Um, no, like
The only
it
one, the only way I would do it, I would consider doing like used books,
yeah,
uh, or
used
like
books,
certain used products.
used
Um,
DVDs, things like that. The problem with, so like Wagner says, oh, the seller said that he could give me an invoice. You're you get into a real gray area because if you accept this random seller's invoice that they just kind of create for you on their computer, well, why don't you just create your own invoices on your own computer for yourself? Well, like, why don't you sell it to yourself? Buy like have Nate Jackson A buy it from eBay, and then Nate Jackson B buys it from Nate Jackson A, and Nate Jackson A writes him an invoice. Like, why aren't you doing that? Because it's insane. Because you shouldn't do that. That's why. So that's how I feel like with eBay to Amazon. If you're okay doing eBay to Amazon, I mean, don't stop there. Go like just go buy counterfeit products.
uh,
Go to
uh,
Alibaba and
well, I
legitimately buy
mean,
counterfeit products. If you're gonna
it's
do
like
that.
I think the next step is like garage sailing. Um,
All right,
like
all right. Next
new,
time is
yeah,
garage sailing.
new. But yes, I mean, it is a slippery slope. Ideally, you try to build a business where you don't always have to look over your shoulder. Like that's kind of my mentality. Like treat Amazon as a long-term play, and you shouldn't be worried that we wake up one day. Obviously, Amazon does some crazy stuff, and you might still like, but uh, yeah, it's just like don't build on an
Yeah,
ice
yeah,
is what you're kind of doing at that point.
for sure. All right. Let me see. For Amazon, can you use your personal account or an Amazon business account only?
It's totally your choice. You can, I mean, ideally you open both. So we talked, the only rule is not to have Prime on either. The value of having both a personal and business account is business accounts get business pricing, which on some products can be substantial. And not only is it like obvious business products, but like shoes occasionally have business pricing, and oftentimes higher quantity limits. The downside is more and more ASINs are restricted from business purchases. For some reason, like you just can't buy everything on a business account. And so that's why you want a personal account too, so you can kind of do both. What you don't want to do though is buy the same product on both to get around quantity limits. So you're not going to go buy six on business account and then three on your personal account. That is also against TOS where they catch you. I don't condone it. Sure, but that is the right way to do it. Is just pick one, buy as many as you can on one, move on to the next product, and don't have Prime. But everything else should match. Name,
Yep.
all of that. And you can get text exempt on either. So that's also a beautiful thing about Amazon. Like if you're doing A2A, you don't care where your prep center is. You just go with the cheapest option because you no longer have to worry about sales tax no matter what you're buying.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I was actually talking to people who were paying like 10% in their sales tax. Like they lived in like a weird county in like Tennessee or something. And
Mm.
between sales tax and then there's like a locale tax that they were paying, it was like up over 10%. So yeah, Amazon to Amazon flipping can be a really interesting option for that. Terry over on Facebook said, if you already had an Amazon Prime business account, can you do A to A from that and just not order and just order non-Prime?
I Technically, if you're very careful every order, I don't particularly recommend it. I usually recommend having a entirely just non-prime account. You can either downgrade that one or you can open a second one.
Hmm. I'm gonna add. Sometimes it's hard to get non-Prime shipping when you have a Prime account. Like there have been a couple times I've tried. And I was like, wait, how do I do this?
Yeah, they don't even have like the option.
Yeah.
Uh, the one question no one's asking, which I do want to say out loud though, because I don't know if you're all going to hear this from anyone else, before you start A2A, the fastest possible way to get your Amazon buying account banned, and uh, you don't
Mm.
want that to happen, is by over returning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And lately, Amazon has shrunk what they consider like that threshold. I don't have a number to
Mm-hmm.
give you because they don't provide it. My
Yeah.
feeling is it's a percent of your total spend, or we've had multiple people who had to go through this, and they freak out. They're like, "Oh my God, A2A is against the rules. My business account was banned." And then you ask them, and they're like, "Well, I returned 52% of all my products, and it was like $100,000." Well, I'm like, all right, well, they don't want that either. So it's really just you. Sometimes you will get products that aren't right. If it's cheap enough, eat it. It sucks, but like the ROI and the margin is so high on the products that you do get, and that's going to be 99% of the products you buy are going to be correct. The 1% that just happen to be slightly off, I will return them. I do returns if the product is wrong or damaged, um, but I don't return everything, even in those two cases. Like so we ordered, it was like $4,000 worth of Magic cards, and Amazon sent us the wrong deck. Um, I didn't return them. Because of my also I believe firmly that Magic cards just get better with age. Like they will become profitable at some point. Like I'm not too worried about it. And that's a really scary idea you just expressed. But uh, there are times where returning is okay. The one thing that you can do to get kind of banned though is over return. Just like being a really, I would say anything over 10%. I wouldn't return more than 10% of your buys, even if they're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I like that. All right. Yeah, we've been here about 40 minutes. I told Saul I wouldn't take up too much of his time. He's got
That's
a
We could
wife.
talk about this for hours, clearly.
He's got a wife waiting for him to get off. But yeah, Saul, I appreciate you coming in. That flip alert tool is super cool. I use it a lot. I need to use the alerts more. I'm a creature of habit, so I have all of my alerts set up in Keepa.
No, that's okay.
Switched them
We didn't
over.
even go through the product finder. So if you guys go log in and check it out, product finder will give you access to every price shop you've ever caught. So if you want to go back and just look at 100% plus ROI drops with three sellers under 100,000 rank, we have you like there's 10,000 of them in there that you can
Hmm,
review.
that's interesting. I
It's
didn't know it showed
it's
you
pretty strong.
from all time.
And then we are launching retailers here shortly as well, so you'll be able to monitor like Walmart and Target and Shopify sellers and all that.
Oh, nice. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone wants to check that out, let me know. I posted a link in chat. Let me see. Oh, that's the ASIN.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mentioned we do have a 500 user limit. We're not gonna close tomorrow. It's not like we're at 499. So there's no like FOMO here today. But I, of course, like I would hope that we do hit our limit, and I think we will. So, especially going into Q4, it's super strong. But you'll join. We have people in there. It's the entire community of A2A buyers. It's super fun. They share their wins. They share like helpful things. But people are spending thousands of dollars a day plus on A2A stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great group, that the Buy Box group. All right, Saul, I appreciate you coming out. Folks, if you're watching, we've got a couple days left to sign up for Sourcing Camp, where it's a lot of content similar to this, but like we're very like surface level here, where we're just kind of explaining how to use the tool. Sourcing Camp, we go deep on this stuff. So yeah, we're going to be bringing in a ton of different people, a ton of different very experienced sellers. If you're interested in that, again, there's a QR code right above my head. I can send it in
Well
chat
worth it.
in the replay. Ask for the link, and I can send it to
Yeah,
you.
it's I think like dollar for dollar, it's one of the best programs I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's like I really try to make it a point to like overpromise or underpromise, overdeliver, and make it affordable, so that like Nate from like 5 or 6 years ago, back when I was a teacher, so that I could afford a program like this when I'm starting. Because like I don't have to do this in order to pay the bills. I don't have to put on these camps to pay employees. Like I do it because I enjoy them. I do it to help people. And so because of that, like I don't need to charge you thousands of dollars for stuff. So I love putting these on. I love bringing in sellers. Saul was impressed with our last camp, and there was
Yep.
12 different camp counselors. For this Q4 sourcing camp, we have 22 camp counselors. So it's like double the size of
It'll
last
be a good
time,
time.
for just about the same price. But yeah, it'll be a fantastic time. I'm really excited for it. We've got a couple more days of these Source With Me days, these 15 days of sourcing. So even if you're not signing up for sourcing camp, come join me. I'm live or making a post on Facebook and or YouTube every single day for the next couple days. All right. All right, folks.
Very
Thanks
cool.
for coming out. I hope you made some money. You could flip that book that we found there, posted it in chat.